season of the ABL, these two teams find themselves in a difficult situation in a losing slumps. The CLS Knights hosting the Mono Vampire Basketball Club here today inside the Gor Kertajaya in Surabaya, Indonesia. My name is Judd Sulit. With me is Coach Josh Reyes. And Coach Josh, these two teams are really looking for something positive right now, and this could be what triggers them to an uprise here in the ninth season of the ABL.
Yes, somebody has to win this game, and somebody will be able to have the opportunity to turn things around. And the good thing about this is, they're starting to get their players in the groove, started to get a lot more games in them, and a lot more chance to make their mark.
Well, we're taking a look at some of the keys to the game. These are very important if these two teams would like to take a win. Let's start with the CLS Knights.
Obviously, energy. CLS Knights likes to play with a lot of ball movement, and they like to get their shooters open. So for that to happen, they have to have a lot of energy, both offensively and defensively. Again, attention to detail on offense and defense. Coach Rosen really likes to execute well down the stretch. That's why this last point is execution. If you pay attention to detail, then you'll be able to execute well.
Well, let's take a look at now the team standings where these two teams are currently in. Mono Vampire, after challenging Alab Pilipinas in the previous season, all the way in the finals, even forced a Game 5, they are starting out the ninth season with trouble, losing their first 3 games.
A lot of personal changes for the Mono Vampire Club. They're trying to adjust and really trying to find their comfort zone in this tournament. They're adjusting to each other, adjusting to the new personnel, and now they have Chris Charles with his second game. So, hopefully they can start getting their chemistry back in.
Well, let's take a look at the previous match of the CLS Knights. They figured in the season opener of San Miguel Ala Pilipinas, in the defending champs, just passed them. As for the Mono Vampire, they kept close with the undefeated Formosa Dreamers, but eventually came up short.
Yes, two contrasting games. CLS Knights got a real wake-up call from mighty Ala Pilipinas, and Mono Vampire started to turn things around. They were short of a victory, but there were a lot of positive things in that last game of theirs.
You did mention that they did introduce a new guy in that previous match in Chris Charles. One big reason why they made it to the finals in the 8th season is because they had a towering Sam DeGuara in the middle. They switched things up, went with a little but highly offensive Marcus Keane to open up the season, eventually decided that it wasn't working, went with Chris Charles. What do you think that does, especially as Charles will probably match up with the Stephen Hurt of CLS?
Yes, Charles will bring a lot of defense, especially to defend somebody like Stephen Hurt, who really produces big numbers for the CLS Knights. Like here, last game, 19 points, 9 rebounds against another giant in Ramos. So Hurt will have his hands full with Charles being in the fold for the Mono Vampires.
You're right. 19 points, 9 rebounds. It's not exactly the most incredible stat line, but doing it against a 7'3" PJ Ramos, that makes it impressive. He had help from a local in Rahmad Utomo, who was firing from outside, and he was a big help. But eventually, TLS just didn't have enough to bring down the champs.
Yes, it was a glimmer of hope. For you to be successful in this tournament, you need a lot of bench help, a lot of local help. Although some may say that it might be some, garbage time special, but still, it's a glimmer. You know that these locals and Otomo has that capability of producing and putting up numbers when his number is called upon.
Who among the Mono Vampire players do you think has to step up in order for this team to finally experience their first win?
Number 1 for me is Singletary. He's the main producer for this team. He has to be consistent in all 4 quarters so that, to provide stability for Mono Vampire. Now we are seeing Moses Morgan. He's one of the guys who are being asked to score. He's been struggling lately from the field. If he can find his groove, his shooting touch, then that's a big help in terms of scoring production for this team.
Moses Morgan making his homecoming to the Thailand team after the rule change that allowed, a bit more leeway when it comes to local players. But against Formosa, he was a big help, like you said. That's what you get with Moses Morgan. He stuffs the stat sheet, but Mono just not having that final kick in order to bring down the undefeated Formosa Dreamers.
Like I said, they just have to improve their efficiency on the floor. They've been putting up a lot of shots but not making a whole lot of them. If their efficiency goes up, then we can see a dangerous Mono Vampire squad here that will be led by Jason Brickman. You know, like you said, they got Charles. So now they got rid of Keane. So that means that all the shoulders, the ball handling chores will be on Brickman. And that's a huge responsibility for him.
Wearing separate or different jersey colors, but it will be a matchup to watch.
What a fantastic matchup this would be. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists for Maxi Esho. Great producer for the Knights. 19 rebounds and 22 big rebounds for Charles, 6 assists. And we're not even counting how many blocks and shots he alters throughout the game. And
Squads. We've met both teams here, the Mono Vampire Basketball Club and the CLS Knights Indonesia, the hosts for this game. And here are the starters: Chris Charles, Mike Singletary, Moses Morgan, Pam Apirom Vilaychay, and Jason Brickman for Mono. Pretty much what we expected, and also the same on the side of the CLS Knights. Oh, by the way, that's the same situation with Wong Wei Long. We know him as a member of the Singapore national team, but his mother hails from Indonesia, and that's why he's playing for CLS as a local. Ball is up, game is on. First possession with Indonesia. Jawato tries to go inside, ball deflected, stolen by Mono. Morgan, straight to the cup. Moses gets the first deuce.
Like I said, if Thailand can defend like that and Charles helps a lot on that interior defense, then that gives him a lot of opportunity to get some fast break points.
What's going to be the biggest thing for CLS here to get a win?
Really ball movement, and they got to get their shooters open.
Hurt.
Going up again. Sorry, Judd. But going up one-on-one against Charles in the paint is very difficult. But if they can move the ball like that, get some assists, that's where they can really be productive.
You wanted energy, you wanted execution. That is how you do it. Stephen Hurt spotting Monte Brandon for the jam and the bonus. He's looking to complete the three-point play.
Nothing to boost energy than an explosive jam to start it out.
Brandon unable to complete the three-point play, but still, that woke up the crowd here inside Court Kertajaya very early. Chris Charles silences them for a bit with that jumper.
You can see right away the game plan of, well, the intended game plan of the CLS Knights, trying to force Charles to shoot jump shots, but, you know, Charles making that shot right away.
It's very important for big men to have that weapon. Jawato sends it to Esho. It's Singletary guarding him right now. Maxi shoots a jumper of his own. Could not get the bounce. It's the first rebound for Chris Charles. We'll see a lot more of those for sure. Brickman orchestrating. Sends it out. Still a lot of time on their shot clock. Charles, they leave him open again. However, he misses this one.
They will live with that. Indonesia will live that shot to Charles. They don't want the other guys penetrating and shooting wide open. So Charles is the guy they can live with shooting the ball from the outside.
Hurt shows a jumper of his own. CLS right now settling for outside shots after that dunk. Well, Wong Wei Long, ironically, it's the smallest guy on their lineup who tries to get a bucket in the paint.
Well, that's 2 times in a row where, you know, Mono Vipers giving up some. That earlier was a backdoor cut, was uncovered, and this time an offensive rebound from a guard, which is really unexcusable. You just have to really play your defense tough all the way through. But you can see when the CLS Knights got their first win against Hong Kong, a huge part of that was Hurt making his jump shots. And that extended the big man outside, and it's the same thing they can do for Charles. If they could extend him out of the paint by making jump shots, by his man making jump shots, then that can open up a lot of opportunities for them inside.
Missed free throws haunting CLS to open this game. Singletary taking Brandon far away from the basket. The cutting Charles. Extra pass to Apirom Vilaychay from downtown. No good. Jawato takes that board away from Charles. CLS running. Good position from Hurd, but could not get the basket.
That's what Charles does. He didn't block the shot, but offered a lot of intimidation, forcing that miss inside.
And when you've been awarded the Defensive Player of the Year, and you're already known for blocking shots, sometimes you don't even have to go for the shot block. You just have to be there.
Oh, but that time, that's a sorry miss. Coming off a nice back screen, just missed the gimme.
Esho tried to get creative. No. Brandon was fouled from behind. And with the way that this crowd is cheering right now, Coach Josh, you would think we're down to the last 5 seconds of the game.
I love the atmosphere here in Surabaya. Really, you really can get into the game. The crowd really gives off a lot of energy to their team. Let's see if they can make their free throws, though.
Oh, Mono a bit lucky that the foul was whistled on Apirom Vilaychay. Well, that still is his second, but at least you get to you get to make sure that Chris Charles stays out of early foul trouble. First free throw is good for Brandon. Second one, a miss, but Hurt got the rebound, couldn't control it. Ball will go back to Mono.
Again, Hurt will have a huge role for his team trying to contain Charles and again making Charles work on the defensive end.
Brickman looking at his options, spots Singletary. That's a shot that he was working on during the pregame shoot-around, and it worked wonders for him.
But great setup by Brickman. That's what Brickman brings to the table. Off that horn set, using the ball screen and whipping that pass towards the open shooter.
Look at Hurt challenging Charles to no avail. Put back is blocked, but Stephen Hurt not giving up makes the defense pay.
They just won't be denied, just really trying their best to get points inside, but
And
you
how
can't
about
celebrate.
the putback jam of Chris Charles. You know, that guy really hates giving up baskets. So if he eventually someone scores on him, he gets it back by putting it down. Looks like a warning is whistled on Mono, delay of game. Touching the ball after that basket. They still are in the driver's seat, 9-6, 6:20 left in the first. Brandon surveying the floor. Picks his triple up. No options opening up. Stephen Herb, elbow J is good.
Like we talked about, that will be open maybe 80% of the time because Charles loves to protect the paint and doesn't want to step out to contest jumpers.
Well, it seems open on both ends of the floor. Charles also had all day to shoot that, but just couldn't get it to fall down.
Yeah, but Hurt is known more of a shooter and can really hurt you from the perimeter than Charles.
There are times actually that, well, I've worked with some analysts who are saying that maybe Hurt could operate inside a little bit more. Nonetheless, he's doing damage from the mid-range here. Charles will have to come out eventually to meet him. A miss from Brandon, rebound taken by Morgan.
What a pass, what a look by Brickman. Oh, sorry, missed by Charles.
And now it's CLS again on the offensive. They're down by 1, 9-8. Haven't felt much of Maxi Esho until now. Drills in the three-pointer.
Every time we say something negative about a player, they deliver.
A miss from Mono. CLS looking to maximize on that. Hurt. Another jumper for him.
He has all day to shoot that jumper. Squares himself up, takes one nice dribble, and then casually shoots that jumper. Charles has to really step out and challenge that, or the guards of Mono should rotate and cover Charles from the perimeter.
And it has been their energy. The main thing you highlighted, Coach Josh, to begin this coverage.
Yes, coming off that timeout, the main concern of Coach Brian Rosen was their transition defense. All but 3 points of the Mono Vampire came from fast break opportunities. If they can get back from defense, then they're okay. They've been outplaying Mono Vampire so far.
And Hurt overplayed Charles on that defensive scheme, and it paid off.
Yeah, like I said, Thailand has been having trouble with their half-court sets. All but 3 points came from fast break. So now the key for Mono is to get stopped so they continue to run. And in contrast, for the CLS Knights to execute well to counteract the running game of the Mono Vampires.
That's now 8 points for Hurt. 6 of those coming from about 15 to 20 feet away from the basket.
And that's just great game planning by Coach Brian Rosen, knowing where the weakness would be and exploiting it.
Well, finally, Singletary able to contribute here for Mono. If you're Coach Dog Marty, would you experiment maybe putting Singletary on Hurt? Is that logical to you?
It depends, because then who will Charles guard? You might end up with Esho, who is even more of a perimeter player. So they can experiment. They can ask Charles to step out more, or they can play zone.
Here's Charles getting the hook shot to fall in. For all his defensive prowess, Charles is also very dependable on the offensive end.
Yeah, he's a towering presence there. You know, how can you challenge that hook shot of his? And that's one way you can wear out a shooter by making him work on defense. So if Charles can make Hurt work enough, as we see Jawato hitting that jump shot of his, then that can counteract Hurt's productivity.
Well, that could be more problems for Mono if more players are hitting from outside. Monte Brandon out to Jawato. No good this time.
It was a great look, great decision by Brandon to hit the Jawato, who just hit a three-point shot earlier on.
CLS could live with that miss. They're still up by 5. 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Singletary has it against Brandon. Morgan had a bit of an opening. Oh, what a play! Chris Charles getting that fancy and nice-looking pass from Mike Singletary with an open lane to the basket.
Great action there, a lot of movement, eventually clearing one side of the court for that pick and roll, and that left Charles wide open on his dive to the basket.
Jawato getting to the cup, no good. Mono off and running. Their strong suit, Singletary, is stopped there, but a foul is whistled on Hurt.
Again, that's one aspect of the game where the CLS Knights are struggling early, just defending in transition.
Singletary, already a veteran in the ABL, knew just what to do when he saw Hurt in front of him. You see there, Stephen Hurt got Mike Singletary on the arm, a clear foul.
That was a nice veteran move with a little of a sidestep, but ultimately attacking the big man's body, drawing that foul.
Singletary gets the free throw. We've seen a lot of action here in the first quarter, and we expect this to remain the same for the entirety of this ball game.
Very, very competitive game so far. Credit to both teams.
Substitutions being made here as we head into the final couple of minutes. Febri Utomo.
Here's your guy stepping on the floor. Let's see if he can continue that production.
Had 12 points against San Miguel Ala Pilipinas. Not many locals are able to do that against Ala because of the depth of that team.
Yes, and you know that bodes well for his confidence. Talk about confidence.
Well, the confidence of CLS shooting from outside is on a ridiculous high right now.
That was a high confidence shot. You know, you can't go under the screen on one way long. You always pull up for that three-point shot.
Ananti could not answer back. Rebound taken by Esho. Maxi pushing that basketball back to him. Thought about his own three-pointer, decides against it. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Wei Long met by two defenders. Someone has to be open. Esho orchestrating down in the post. Lots of physicality. Ball taken away by Singletary. Blocking foul whistled on CLS. Singletary just saw the defenders of CLS still had their backs to him, and he attacked.
Again, every time the Knights take a bad shot or turn the ball over, Mono Vampire really capitalizes every single time. So it's either you execute well if you're CLS Knights every time down, or if there's a bad shot or turnover, or you feel you get fouled, just forget about it and sprint back on defense, because that's where Thailand has been hurting them.
It seems to be a foul on Utomo, and that's good news for CLS because it would have been the second on Hurt if it was called on him. So Stephen Hurt, nonetheless, will still take a seat and will probably rest out the last minute and a half of the first quarter. Wong setting things up. They go to Esho. Esho takes it to the rack.
That's a better attack for Esho. Quick movement, you know, attacking before the defense gets set up.
Brickman goes out to Ananti. All day to shoot. Gets money on the three.
That's a textbook ball screen read by Brickman. Using the ball screen, seeing the roll is being bumped by the perimeter defender, whipping that skip pass across the shooter. Great execution on that.
Esho, Singletary kind of bit the fake, opening up a lane for Esho, but he could not capitalize. On the other side, Mono running again, Singletary challenging the defense. Good effort from Firmano Groho. Esho all the way!
That's what great transition defense does. You know, you defend that fast break attempt by the Mono Vampire, you get a counter fast break on the other side, ending up in a jam.
Brickman to the corner, Ananti another three, he gets it.
What eyes, great spot by Brickman with that penetration, whipping that pass across the baseline.
Last 5 seconds, CLS. Utomo will put it up. Utomo will not get it, and after everything that happened in the first quarter, guess what? We're all tied up at 25.
Lapar, makannya jangan mikir. Nih, piknik, tak bikin dulu.
Fit me, makan mie, jangan mikir.
Defense and they'll be able to force turnovers and stops like that. However, I just want to talk about Jason Brickman for a second now. That's the main role of Brickman now. 3 of Jason Brickman's assists resulted in 3-pointers, so that's 9 points right away coming off a Jason Brickman pass.
Well, there's the reason why he's the league leader in most number of assists in ABL history. Achieved that feat in the very first game of this season. But Brickman, of course, he can also score. You know, one thing about Singletary and Brickman, that relationship between two players, Brickman loves setting up Singletary, and that's a known fact. We see it every game. But Mike Singletary actually encourages Jason Brickman to shoot more because Mike knows that it makes everyone's job easier for the Mono Vampire Basketball Club.
Yeah, and that bodes well if you two of your top guys have that kind of rapport. Then your chemistry, team chemistry follows.
Singletary gets fouled. He's been drawing a lot of contact whenever he's attacking the basket.
A lot of extra contact after the whistle, though. That's why you see this drawing. But referee Buaron on top of the situation right now, controlling it.
Utomo and Singletary exchanged pleasantries after that collision. All is good, and we're about to resume action. 9:04 remaining in the first half. Brickman out to Ananti. Morgan will uncork a three. Front of the rim. Good box out for Nugroho, making sure Charles doesn't get a touch of that basketball. CLS on the offensive. Wong knocked down the three-pointer earlier. This time goes to Utomo. Pick set by Firman. And that foul bails out CLS. Nothing much was happening on offense, and they were left with 6 seconds, but that resets the clock to 14.
That was great aggressive defense. You know, everything was going well until that whistle.
Look at this platoon substitution for Coach Brian Rosum. Reinserting Stephen Hurt, and it's going to be the first rest that Wong Wei Long and Maxi Esho will get in this game.
In the meantime, in the other side, Charles and Singletary has been on the floor for the whole time. Let's see if that affects their stamina when the game goes on.
Singletary loses that basketball. It was a rare occurrence where it was Singletary trying to kick it out to Brickman.
Yeah. But Singletary having a lot of turnover so far. He has to clean that up.
Hidayat now calling the shots for CLS. Goes to Jowato with Brandon setting the pick. Single digits on the shot clock. Hidayat looking for options. Kurniawan now to Hurt. A lot of passing, and now Jowato takes the shot.
Better defense now. You see Charles stepping up to his man, not allowing any quick openings. But again, if there's a miss or a turnover, most likely Mono will come out running and finish in transition.
And the funny thing is, it seemed like there was no opening for Singletary either. He just made one.
As a coach, I call that an effort fast break. Just you put effort and will just to run and just outwork your opponent. So now CLS has to put in that effort in sprinting with their opponents.
Hurt has not cooled down a bit. Coming off the bench, he hits a three-pointer.
Momentarily left open by Charles, Hurt makes him pay.
Oh, and that's a poor pass. Singletary having trouble handling that basketball. Charles has it far away from comfort zone. Morgan attacking, poor spacing there between Morgan and Charles, results to a miss. Kurniawan tried to save it. Good effort from Mono, but they couldn't complete the steal. Jowato underneath, draws the foul.
Oh.
Morgan and Brandon Jowato. Wow, tension building up here, Coach Josh. A lot of extracurricular bumping. You see it here. There's the initial foul, the swipe, and then another extra collision.
Some extracurricular activities going on after whistles. But I felt that was a poor foul by Moses Morgan because Charles was right behind him, ready to block that shot as the last line of defense. You gotta, give. If you employ a guy like Charles, who is a tremendous rim protector, then you should give him a chance to do his job by not bailing out these guys by fouling and sending them to the line.
I think there's a 90% chance that after that foul was whistled on Moses Morgan, what ran through his head is that, oh yeah, we replaced Marcus Keene with a Chris Charles.
Exactly.
We now have a 7-3 guy. I forgot about that.
But now, of course, the problem of Charles, his man is making outside shots. So how can he protect the rim and at the same time prevent his man from getting those open looks?
And that's what we were talking about earlier. Brickman, for all his ability to facilitate, he can also score.
Wow, I see that move by Jason Brickman. A little hezzy. Fake spin hezzy to the basket.
But the outside shots of CLS, it's coming from everyone. Now Arif Hidayat knocking down a three.
I'm telling you something about this arena when the Knights play here. Floodgates open. And talk about the floodgates opening up. Now we're seeing a lot of good offense from both teams.
Singletary getting his own three-pointer. We know that guy can score in punches. The switch puts him on Hidayat. They go to Hurt. They want it with Monte Brandon. What about that steal from Brickman? The fast break for Mono. Chichayanati.
Hey!
No! Chris Charles with a cleanup.
Great fast break attack again by the Vampires. But great anticipation. Brickman had that mismatch, but he anticipated that entry pass, gave a lot of space, snuck up behind his man, and was able to get in front for that steal.
But it has silenced down here because Mono has stepped on the gas pedal and has taken a 2-point advantage, 34-32.
But again, it's just really the transition attack of Mono giving the CLS Knights a lot of problems.
Hurt underneath. He can do it from outside and inside as well.
Hurt really stepping up to the challenge and really taking it to the previous Defensive Player of the Year, former Defensive Player of the Year.
To the corner, Ananti. Third three-pointer for Chichay Ananti. He is on fire here in the first half.
He's waxing hot now. Can't leave him open. You got to always be aware where he is. The Ananti Konda, as one of our friends might want to say.
It's a miss for CLS, but Brandon hustles to get that offensive rebound. Hurt now to Esho. Will take it to the basket. No good. Monte Brandon, the cleanup. And you can tell that Monte Brandon really is hoping for a win. He's working hard to do everything for CLS.
Extra possession right there, just working hard, like you said, getting the offensive rebound. Now, when Charles for Mono goes up and tries to block a shot, the other guys should step in and help him in the rebounding department.
Brickman.
He got the switch.
Oh, and Brickman just left his
Ooh.
defenders in the rearview mirror.
Again, that nice step back hesitation, freezing his defender, going straight to the basket.
Jason Brickman assisting and scoring here in the first half, and that error is going to hurt CLS. They lose the possession. 4:20 remaining in the first half. Mono just really streaking right now. You see Coach Brian Rossum telling his men to relax and keep their composure.
And again, penetrations. You know, Thailand is really known for, they have a lot of good attackers, slashers in there. Their three-pointers come from penetration. So the first order of business is protect that paint, stay in front of your man.
Singletary fakes the three, gets to the cup, the kick out to Brickman. Jason, kick out to Ananti. Couldn't get that one. He had 3 3-pointers before that miss.
But we saw 2 penetrations from the Mono Vampire squad that time. That was still a good possession for them. Great defense by Ananti. Forced that loose ball foul.
And it's going to be a great stop. Mono Vampire in the middle of a good run here in the second quarter. We've seen exchanges of runs here in this ball game, here in the first half. But right now, Mono in control of one.
Both teams has been really executing their game plans well. So what I'd like to see is which team would be able to adjust quicker and solve the riddles that each opponent brings to the table.
Oh, the three-point shooting of Mono Vampire is up there right now. In the first quarter, it was CLS Knights hitting all those three-pointers. Now it's Mono, and that's why they hold a 6-point lead.
And again, coming from a Jason Brickman assist. If you're the CLS Knights, you kind of want to see Brickman hit some jump shots first before you step out on him. You can't allow Brickman to pick you off by his penetrations and assists. You know, force him to shoot a couple of jump shots here and there first.
Brickman has assisted on at least 5 3-pointers of Mono. Another one for Chichai Ananti.
And again, coming off a penetration and a kick out.
It wasn't Brickman anymore, it was Singletary, but still the result that Mono Vampire wanted. Monte Brandon taking it strong to the basket.
Big basket right there, stopping the run of the Mono Vampires.
Chris Charles, the collision with Hurt.
A lot of contact right there being let go.
No foul whistled on either side. Cornyawan, that's his spot. Sandy misses though. Monte Brandon back to Cornyawan, decides against it, gets to the cup, gets fouled, will shoot free throws.
And we get a whistle there from reaching in. I guess if you reach in, you will get whistled for a foul. But if you meet your opponent with your body, then the refs will give you a lot more leeway.
We'll see it here. Brickman looks like he got ball on that replay.
That looked clean and came off the leg of Kurnawan.
Now, let's move a couple of sequences, a couple of possessions back to that collision between Charles and Hurt. Because both teams are actually complaining. Your thoughts, Coach Josh, what do you think should have been called if there should have been a whistle?
Yeah, that's a huge collision. So both coaches just expecting a whistle. Whether make a decision, was it a charging call or a blocking foul? More often than not, that you don't let that pass because a lot of players are on the floor. Then there'll be an advantage for one team.
What I liked about the players, though, there was no whistle, and before they complained, eventually they did, but they waited for the next dead ball before they went up to the referees and asked, hey, what happened? Why didn't you blow your whistle?
As they should.
Exactly.
The game goes on. You got to keep on competing and don't hang your fate on the referees' calls.
So free throws converted by the CLS Knights by Sandy Cornyawan, another member of the Indonesian national team. Cross-court pass, another open three. Moses Morgan misses this time.
That was a brick way off the line that time.
May have been surprised that he was that wide open. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first half. CLS looking to get closer. And for all the success we've seen from Mono here in the second quarter, you would think they have already broken the game open, but no, CLS just fighting hard and keeping it close.
Again, the thing, you know, that's one thing that's going for CLS. For everything that's happening, they're just in the game, chipping away, chipping away.
You can't teach height, that's what they tell you. And Chris Charles towering over everyone. Also, the basketball smarts not to put that ball down anymore. He gets a three-point play opportunity.
And again, I may sound like a broken record, but it all starts with the penetration of Singletary. You get somebody penetrating, breaking that defense from the perimeter, then that forced the man of Charles to help out, and that allowed Charles to get that offensive rebound off the miss.
Chris Charles, no, that's how he gets his points. It's pretty silent, but the reason why he gets a double-double, because usually for every 2 points that he scores, there's one rebound in the middle.
He's just being in the right place at the right time. Knows where his spots are, knows his advantage, and just basically knowing what his strengths are. And that's being off the ball, being ready to get offensive rebounds, blocking shots, you know, getting passes from pick and rolls, and running the floor.
A minute and 10 remaining. Singletary way off on the three-pointer. Now, when you're knocking down every shot, who are bigger football countries, there are sports bigger than basketball, but once you give them a platform to show their love and support for the game and for their home team, they come out and do that.
Definitely. If you give out, you know, bring quality competition nearer to the fans.
Chris Charles doing what he does best, protecting that basket. A huge rejection there. And that's also one reason why CLS took a lot of outside shots to open up the game up. They knew that Charles would be there to get those blocks, those stops.
Yes, that was actually a very, very smart ploy by the Knights. Extending the floor, you know, forcing Charles to play from the perimeter. And I think, you know, it has been working so far. They should just continue to move the ball. Don't force these things inside. Especially every time they turn the ball over or take bad shots, Mono Vampire capitalizes with transition baskets. So just move the ball around, because eventually they've always found the open shooter from the perimeter.
48 seconds remaining in the first half. While Mono is ahead, neither team really gaining full control at any point of this ball game. It's been a back and forth, but now being enjoyed by the Thailand team. Jawado loses control of that basketball. A chance for Mono to up their advantage. They go down low. The pass to Charles went past three defenders, but Charles couldn't get the first one, the second one. And finally, CLS takes control.
What great team defense by the CLS Knights. Team swarming defense. Very impressive.
The Indonesians can get the last say of the first half.
Look at the matchup now. Charles is on Brandon.
Esho getting control of it. Klahan on him. 4 seconds to shoot. They take it from the corner. What a big shot. Hidayat knocks it down. And that is something you want to bring into your locker room at the half.
That's a great confidence booster, energy booster, ending the half for the home squad.
Looks like our referees are clearing something up. Not sure if they want to check if it's a three-pointer or if they want to check if there's time. There should be time left.
Yeah, there should be time left, especially if a timeout was called.
A timeout was called, and from the looks of it, there seems to be about 2 seconds remaining.
Lapar. Makan jangan mikir. Nih, piknik. Gak bikin dulu.
Fit Me. Makan mie, jangan mikir.
Sabi jangan mikir. Nih, Fitri, gak bikin gendut.
Fit me, makan mie, jangan mikir.
On the floor for them are Jowato, Wong Wei Long, Stephen Hurt, Monte Brandon, and Maxi Esho, the same starters. As for Mono, there's a new face with Chichay Ananti stepping in for Palm Apiron Vilaychay. Why not? Guy scored 12 points in the first half.
Of course, stay with the hot hand.
Esho trying to evade the defense a bit too much. Ananti with the board.
Again, Escher will attract so much defense, so much attention. Very, very seldom will he see himself in single coverage. So he just has to be aware with that every time he attacks. Aware of that every time he attacks.
Ananti tried to do a bit too much and he apologizes for it.
That's not his role. It's not Ananti's job in this squad to create things for his teammates. He just has to stay in his spot and be ready when the ball comes to him.
Wong Wei Long to Jowato. They want Hurt in the post. Stephen backing down Chris Charles.
It's got to be one-on-one. Oh, bailed out by that foul.
And Coach Brian Rosom giving Chris Charles a different look right now.
Just challenging a little bit, challenging the big man a little bit. Chris Charles just got a little over-eager with this one. He had him covered until that slap down. You know, just get your hands up. You know, let's see. Just take a look if he can knock that shot down over your hands.
We also saw Hurt initialize that contact by putting his body in. How much are you allowed to go in, Coach Josh, when it comes to those situations?
You just gotta get it off a move. You cannot just barge straight into your defender's chest. You gotta give him a move so that you don't bump him straight on. And really, that's what you need to do against a shot blocker. You can't give a shot blocker space to be able to time blocking your shot. You gotta get to his body, get him off balance, and then attack him while he's on his heels.
Morgan from outside, it's a miss. Look at Brandon go up for his 12th board.
That's your guy, just doing all these little things. Again.
Brandon
Oh,
loses the basketball, recovers it.
that's not really his strength, though.
Here's Esho against Morgan. Maxi putting on a bunch of moves, couldn't get the shot though.
Again, that was Charles helping out, so you've got Hurt open somewhere.
Ananti was blocked at the basket. Here comes CLS. Jowato forces his way in.
Sloppy start so far for both squads.
Wong Wei Long trying to set things up again. May have slipped a little there. Dives for the basketball, but lost control of it eventually. Brickman protects the basketball with his offhand. Look at him take
Gets
that
it
ball back.
Oh, we've got a sportsmanlike foul here.
I believe that's going to be on Maxi Esho. But Brickman knew that it was his fault for attacking Esho. Look at him sneak back, and Esho just grabbed.
With that steal and force that unsportsmanlike foul.
And before that miss, Brickman was actually 2 for 2. So you see how what we're trying to highlight here is his smarts. He rarely takes shots that are not calculated well.
You're definitely right there, Judd. So now, defensively, if you're guarding Brickman, I believe you have to force him to shoot jumpers early. He doesn't want to shoot jumpers early. He wants to run the offense. He wants to set up his teammates. And he wants to penetrate. Like you said, that's why he's 2 for 2. That's why his efficiency is up. So if you try to force him and challenge him to shoot outside shots, then it might not play well to his strengths.
And that is his strength. Setting up teammates, but Singletary could not reward them with a 3. CLS, Esho looking to come alive here in the second half. Brandon was met by 2 defenders. Brandon doesn't care. He gets it off the glass and the bonus.
And you can read it from Coach Brian Rosom's lips. It's a mismatch. So with Ananti starting the half, you know, that's a weaker defender on Brandon instead of
Singletary.
and the other look at the Rom.
Darompana, Perón Vilaychay.
Yes, exactly.
Here's Charles. Trying to attack this time, and he draws a foul on Hurt. Hurt with a reaction there. He's got to watch it.
So going back to that dilemma, you know, Ananti was hot ending the first half, so that's a coach's dilemma. Do you put in offense and sacrifice defense, or should you start still with defense so that not to have this mismatches? So now you see Coach Doug Marty adjusting right away, putting his regular starter in there in lieu of Ananti.
Palma Perón Vilaychay picked up 2 early fouls that kept him on the bench for the entirety of the first half, or most of it at least. Here's Charles, disgusted at that missed free throw. The Knights with a strong start here in the third quarter, taking the lead momentarily. But it's tied up once again by Charles.
Let's see who settles down quicker in the second half. Both teams have been sloppy.
And that's a three-pointer once again for Esho.
I wonder if that's a smart idea, just daring Esho to shoot that jump shot, not even getting a hand up.
That's already the 7th made three-pointer of CLS in this game. Here comes Mono. Singletary from outside, gets it back.
Everybody's hitting threes right now.
Esho answers
Oh.
back. What an exchange here in the third quarter.
What you can do, I can do better. Let's see if Singletary tries to answer back.
It's a steal by Esho. Maxi leading the break. Maxi sending it up to Brandon.
Showtime!
The CLS Knights have come alive here in the third.
Athleticism of Brandon in full display with this pass. Such confidence by Esho on Brandon getting that lob pass. Corner and using his, stature, his short stature as a disadvantage when they trap him. So that's been working. And I saw Coach Brad Rosen signal on his bench to continue that ploy.
Here comes Mono. They need something positive here. Morgan, the kick out. Perón Vilaychay sends it to Singletary. Long three. Couldn't get it. Great box out for Hurt, but Morgan was there to get the miss. Nice pass from Brickman to Charles, who couldn't complete it. Another offensive board for Mono. And Perón Vilaychay gets fouled there by Wong Wei Long.
That's just unfortunate. Great defense by CLS Knights in that possession, but just couldn't clean up the boards. You can't give up 3 extra possessions and get away with it.
It has been an intense third quarter, and we're not even halfway through it. Ball inbounded to Charles, momentarily lost. He recovers. 10 seconds on the shot clock of Mono. Charles providing the pick. Brickman
Going
surveying
under the
floor.
screen.
Brickman to Singletary. Mike puts it up. It's a miss. Hurt with the board, and they have neutralized the rebounding of Chris Charles.
Again, the defensive adjustments by Coach Rosam. This time, they're squeezing or pushing up and going under, forcing, not allowing Brickman to create for his teammates, and daring Brickman to shoot that outside shot.
Esho taking on Morgan. 3 by the corner, no good. Brickman, the forward pass to Perón Vilaychay.
And what's the strength of the Vampires this game again? It's transition, fast break points, fast break points.
That is an all-star pitch from Jason Brickman.
Touchdown.
Here's Hurt. CLS being a bit more patient here. Jawato looking at Perón Vilaychay. They've been attacking the defensive palm. Brandon Jawato loses that basketball on his way to the cup. It's going to be Mono basketball. Three-point lead for the Knights. If it's raining threes inside the Gorker Tajaya, the rain is also making its presence felt from outside. Mike Singletary getting that backdoor cut.
One of the few big mistakes by Brandon falling asleep on that backdoor cut. They're already going under the ball screens on Brickman, so no need for weak side help on that occasion. Just Brandon falling asleep that time, allowing Singletary to go backdoor.
It's amazing how Jason Brickman almost knows where each and every one of his teammates are. Blocking foul on Singletary, trying to stop Maxi Esho. This was the move, the collision between those two guys. Singletary had to give up a foul. He apologized immediately.
It's a nice, good, hard foul, though, sending a message. No easy ones for you tonight.
1 point game, Knights ahead. And it seems though they're just alternating runs here, Coach Josh. To the delight of fans, we've been treated to an incredible ball
Gotta
game.
shoot.
Brandon from
Hey.
outside. Is there anything that that man cannot do?
What a break right there for not knowing the situation to having to shoot and to knock it down.
Knights up by 4. Brickman puts up his own 3, misses. Jawato with the board.
Again, Brickman has to knock that shot down if he wants the CLS Knights to change the defense. They've been going under the screen, leaving him open for those jump shots.
Wong setting things up, takes the pick from Hurd. Stephen Hurd will back down Charles from way outside. Brandon now in control, 3 seconds remaining. Monte makes his move. It's a miss, and Hurd mistimed his jump, could not get control of that leather. It will be Mono Vampire basketball with 3:15 remaining in the third quarter.
Let's see if they continue to try to run ball screens for Brickman, or they can adjust and counter by running the ball screens for Singletary and see what happens from there.
At the end of the first quarter, we were tied at 25 apiece. At the half, it was a 2-point lead for the Mono Vampire. But here in the third quarter, the CLS Knights are outscoring Mono 16-10. And that's why they hold this 4-point lead. Large factor in that, the duo of Monte Brandon and Maxi Esho.
But great action, you love it. If you're a basketball fan watching this ball game, you're loving it. Up and down action, changing leads.
Here we go, basketball action resumes. Inside the Gorker Tachaya. Charles, a handoff to Singletary. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Mike just taking it strong. Great defense from Brandon.
And Brandon doing all these little things, helping his squad, that time with a great defensive stand.
We're officially putting him on the triple-double watch. He's 3 assists away
Wow.
from a triple-double. Hurt involves Shawano in the offensive scheme. Monte Brandon again trying to draw the foul, but couldn't do so. Great defense from Charles. Singletary loses control of it. As you mentioned, turnovers have been piling up for Mike Singletary.
Gotta settle down now.
From outside, Stephen Hurt misses. Singletary with the rebound.
What a great look right there. Just always aware where everybody on his squad is. So, Brickman, such great eyes for a basketball player.
And that leads to a timeout called by the CLS Knights. Their lead is down to 2 points, 61-59. The biggest lead enjoyed in this game was 7 points for Mono. We'll cut to a short break. We'll be back with more basketball action. We hope that you stick around for the entire season of the ABL. We promise to deliver you all the games. We promise that everything will be exciting here. Right now, it's the CLS Knights holding on to a 2-point advantage. Under 2 minutes left in third quarter, Utomo send it out to Maxi Esho, drills in the 3.
That's their best player. You can't leave him wide open like that. And so far, the Knights are shooting 50% from the 3-point line, and that's huge. That's a great stat. So right now, they're already 10 of 19, in fact, from the 3-point line.
Brickman was rejected by Nugroho. From the corner, Moses Morgan Three is short. The rebound out. Hidayat.
Yeah, could be an offensive foul right there. He just lowered his shoulder and wiped out Wong.
And that is another turnover for CLS. And it's instances like this, Coach Josh, that could break a momentum for a team. Let's
Yes.
see if Mono can capitalize on it.
Yes, but you know, if you're not focused, if you stay focused, you're up in this ball game, just get another stop and you'll be okay.
Mono now looking to make strides here in the third quarter. Morgan attacks. Morgan, the layup rolls in for him.
Finally, I'd like to see Morgan do that a lot more rather than just settling for outside shots, which haven't been hitting for him. He'll take the ball to the hoop, make something happen.
He's made a name for himself in the ABL as a stretch four. A foul called on Mono as Esho tried to spin to the basket. Esho will be taking a pair of free throws as Mono is already in penalty.
Good execution, good look right there for the point guard, getting Esho rolling to the basket.
Maxi Esho in this game. He's got a bunch of statistics. They're really helping his team out. 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists.
He's primed for a big night if he continues that.
He averages 20.6 points, 7 rebounds, and about 3 assists. So he's right about his average. In terms of points, he can easily eclipse that with 1 full quarter ahead. Misses on the first free throw, however.
Now looking at the team stats, the reason why CLS Knights are, they have this slim lead is because they've been winning in this rebounding department. Despite the presence of Charles for the Mono Vampires, they're still winning the rebounding department 34-30. And despite Brickman, displaying all these nice assists, the CLS Knights are actually winning the team assist department.
Brickman has 11, but in total, there's 16 already for CLS. They get the steal. The Knights running. Esho slams it home. That is another assist
For the CLS Knights, but coming from great defense. Oh,
and Morgan
could be
tried
a
to force
bailout.
that up.
Could be a bailout. That was a good defensive stand.
Utomo has to be careful with this reaction, though.
But that's okay. They're still up in this ball game. Just continue to execute. Continue to follow the game plan. And you can overcome that call.
Let's take a look at it once again. Mono was already in a world of trouble as nothing much was materializing on offense, and Moses Morgan decided to take matters into his own hands, forced his way into Febri Otomo, and drew the foul.
Yeah, questionable call, but that's what aggressiveness offensively does for you. With your aggressiveness, you somehow force the referees to blow their whistle, and that doesn't happen if you just settle for soft shots on the floor.
That's a made free throw, but a split from the line for Morgan. About 2 seconds of difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Mono almost a steal. They complete it. Morgan is hustle on a high here in the third. A large reason why Mono only down by 4. 10 seconds remaining.
Last shot time.
Brickman orchestrating. Morgan from outside. No good. The rebound by Apiron Vilaychay, and he will miss. Klahan will not be able to take a shot there. And the CLS Knights turn things around here in the third quarter. After opening the second half down by 2, they establish a 4-point lead. At the end of the third, we have 10 more minutes between the CLS Knights and the Mono Vampire. It's sure to be an exciting finish to what has been an epic battle. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with the fourth quarter.
Nih jangan pakai mikir. Nih, fit Mi. 50 kali doang. Bisa gitu.
Fit nih, makan mie, jangan mikir.
CLS Knights, the home team, up by 4, but it was really that third quarter that got them the lead. Just Sulit with Coach Josh Reyes. Coach Josh, what were the adjustments of CLS in the second half that got them the advantage?
The main adjustment was on their ball screen defense. They started to push up, attach on the big guys of Mono Vampire on ball screens and just go underneath when Brickman uses them. And that's twofold. It takes away the assist opportunities of Brickman and they're able to attach to Charles, rendering Charles, negating Charles' effectivity on offense in that quarter.
Three-point shooting of CLS also a big factor, especially in that third quarter. They have now made 10 three-pointers in only 19 attempts. Mono looking for options. They go to Klahan underneath. Otomo guarding him. Klahan in trouble. And that is a 3-second violation. Great catch by our referees.
Good call right there. He had nowhere to go. Took a bunch of pivots. Good 3-second call.
67-63, the home team, the CLS Knights up right now.
But this backup point guard, Hidayat, has really done a great job for the Knights. You've seen now Wong sitting on the bench for a long time. But now we see Mono Viper on his own.
Otomo misses the corner three. Hurt was able to get that rebound over Charles and the putback as well.
One of the weaknesses of a zone defense is it's tough to box out and locate the man to box out.
Morgan from outside. The three-point shots of Mono fell in the second quarter, but it has left them here in the second half. Otomo musters up a shot and gets it off the glass.
It's the defense of the CLS Knights fueling everything.
Here in the fourth quarter. Look at it one more time, the defensive stop. Otomo leading the charge. And no call on that collision. But still, Febri Otomo with the concentration.
Impressive, strong move right. This is a man's move right here. Just barreling through and finishing despite the contact has been working. They've been able to neutralize Brickman and Charles. And to a certain degree in the last couple of possessions, Singletary. And that's forcing Moses Morgan to try to create for his team. And so far, with Moses Morgan trying to shoot or create, it hasn't been working for the Mono Vampire so far.
Here's Bono in need of a bucket. Singletary couldn't provide. Charles working hard for the board, but there were 4 white shirts surrounding him. Otomo again. This time he loses control.
That's unfortunate. That was a great stop. Just, the ball was a little slippery there, but he had a great idea. He tried to pass it to the open shooter.
The Vampire quickly on the other side. 8 minutes and change remaining in the ball game. Charles staring down Hurt. They go to Morgan, who slips there. And Otomo is pumped up as he got the defensive stop with a little bit of help from the slippery floor.
Yeah, I was going to say that's unfortunate because of the strong rains outside. The floor inside has become a little bit moist. That's why we're seeing all these slips from our players.
71-63, still an 8-point lead.
Ananti is back in the ball game trying to boost the offensive productivity of Thailand. But now what he has to do is play good defense against this guy.
Ananti scored 12 points in the first half, but has not scored a single point yet here in the second. Hidayat, miscommunication between him and Otomo, or Esho rather. Arif will take a seat on the CLS bench, replaced by Wong Wei Long. Charles looking for teammates. Singletary, Morgan, Brickman, and Ananti joining the floor. Mike Singletary, that's a shot that Mono needed.
So now, I don't know if that was an adjustment or a mistake on that ball screen defense, but Wong followed or fought over the top of that ball screen that allowed Brickman to turn the corner and penetrate, and that allowed to dish off to Mike Singletary for an open three because of the penetration. I think they should go back to going under the ball screen on Brickman.
And now, like you mentioned earlier, Mono going zone on CLS, but Hurt getting that beautiful pass from Mesho. Again, the assists, the ball movement of CLS on full display. A miss from outside. Monte Brandon loses that basketball. Ananti with the effort. Ananti could not get the three though. Almost there.
Yeah, Knights dodge a bullet there.
You feel the tension building up here in the stadium.
Sitting on that zone, Ananti with a deflection.
And Chichai Ananti with a walk in the park. He may not be knocking down threes, but you feel his impact. A winner-take-all Game 5 in the finals of ABL Season 8 against Alab Pilipinas. A big challenge to them is the absence, the departure of Sam De Guara, who is now suiting up for the Hong Kong Eastern basketball team. But they have new reinforcement in Chris Charles. As for CLS, they won one game against Hong Kong, but have lost 3 since.
Zone defense has been working for the Mono Vampire so far. They're starting off with a little 2-1 press, dropping down to a 2-3 zone.
Initially, that pass from Esho looked like, or from Singletary rather, looked like a miscalculation, but the referee saw something we all didn't, and that was Brandon holding on to Chris Charles, preventing him from catching that pass cleanly. A foul called on Brandon. He sits on the bench. Mono couldn't get that shot. Brickman out of nowhere for the offensive rebound.
Fortunate for that offensive rebound, not the best of shots. Shot selections by Moses Morgan that time.
Ananti from the corner. That's his spot. No foul whistled. Ananti felt like he was clobbered there.
I actually overheard the referees talking a little bit, and apparently Ananti is known for faking fouls. So I guess that's a reputation that's going against him.
Otomo gets to the cup underneath, dribbles out, the pass to Hidayat. 4-3, no good. Rebound taken by Brickman. Pass deflected, intended for Morgan. Esho gets to the cup.
Oh!
Maxi Esho throws down the hammer.
Right there, right towards Charles. What rim protection. And right back at you.
And Singletary getting the quick bucket. That's how you erase a statement jam. But what an attack still from Esho.
I still can't get over it. Baseline attack, rising up, two-handed jam over the center, over the biggest man on the floor. Wow, what action so far.
CLS again on offense. Otomo, he got some space but couldn't maximize. Hurt this time. On the other side, CLS making a shooting target of Chris Charles. Morgan will attack, takes the bump. And Hurt cannot believe the foul is called on him. Body's on the floor with Morgan tripping over Hurt.
A lot of moisture on the floor right now. All the sweat, all the guys hitting the deck.
This is what happened with Moses Morgan.
But
He knew, he saw the positioning of Hurt. He knew that if they collided, the foul was going to be on Stephen.
that's better for Moses Morgan. Really, you gotta face it. His shots haven't been falling this game. So he has to adjust and attack the basket. Don't fall in love with that. Don't force it. And things are better for Moses Morgan when he attacks.
The crowd sending out their boos in dismay of that foul whistled on their import, Stephen Hurt. But the call has been made, and it's going to be 2 free throws for Moses Morgan. You know, it's still the same narrative as what we talked about in the first half. The CLS Knights have been rolling here in the second half, Coach Josh. And for all the highlights and the defensive stops they made, you would think that they probably are up already by 15. But no, it's just a 6-point game at this point. Both teams just so hungry for a win and not letting the other break away.
Exactly. Mono Vampire just sticking around, refusing to give in. For every great play of the CLS sides, Mono Vampire just tries to push the ball and gets it back. They try to get it back right away by pushing the tempo.
I've been lucky enough to be able to listen in to one of your huddles before, and one thing you always remind the teams you handle is there are times you just want to be able to have that chance to take the win in the end. You just want to stick around, like you've been saying.
As a coach, you just have to do enough to give yourself a chance in the end game. So with all your adjustments, with all your efforts, just don't give in. Just keep on plucking away. Give yourself a chance to pull it off in the end game.
5-point lead for CLS. Under 4 minutes left in the ball game. Monte Brandon has returned to action. He has the basketball. Brandon to Esho. Maxi, the kick out to Hurd. Tried to go glass, couldn't get it.
Starts missing now, and credit Charles. He's been rushing out to challenge that jump shot.
Morgan has been attacking. That ball tapped out of bounds by Hurd.
Was a good attack, just sorry miss on that layup.
And I felt like it was one of the easier layups that he had. Ananti got his defender up in the air. Misses, however, and Charles mistimed his jump. 3-on-1 break. Esho. Foul given up by Singletary, trying to stop the attack. And I thought that was still good defense for Mike Singletary.
I mean, that was a 3-on-1 fast break attack, and you don't give up a layup, that's a win for you. That's a win for you defensively. Just, force him to shoot free throws.
But Maxi Esho, too, he's on a mission right now. He's trying to dunk over everyone that stands in his way.
You're correct. Man on a mission indeed. He's like zoned in, locked in. He's just taking everything to the cup, not taking any prisoners.
The CLS bench being reminded right now. Basically, referees asking them to behave. They have to be seated down.
Yeah, it's the new favorite term now in all leagues. Proper bench decorum.
Yep.
Right.
Look at that. It turns out to be an excellent
foul.
foul,
Yeah, exactly.
committed by Singletary as Esho misses the first free throw. Maxi Esho working with 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists.
But he's been working hard. You look at him now. He's really sucking a lot of air. You see how much stamina he has left for this final 3 minutes.
Brickman has been a non-factor in the fourth quarter so far. Not a single assist for him. Oh, main reason is because Mono has been missing shots.
Yes, and they went back to going under that ball screen. That one assist he had though was the dish to Singletary when CLS made a mistake defensively.
Singletary this time knocks down the three.
What heart by Singletary, just willing his team to stick around. That was a tough shot, and that's just pure will to win.
And now Esho and Brandon looking to team up again to deliver the final blows, but CLS only up by 3 points, 2.5 minutes. Hidayat straight away 3.
Great defense. They're back to their man-to-man defense now. Good defensive stand. Caught CLS by surprise.
Singletary loses the basketball. That might be costly. However, the referees will convene.
They got to review that.
That's going to be an important call. It looked like Brickman was able to slap it out cleanly.
Got to change the basketball too. The basketball's pretty slippery at this point.
So they will give the possession to CLS. Brickman had last touch on it, and I didn't see him nor the Mono Vampire coaching staff or team complain at all.
You're right. Back to man-to-man defense by the Vampire. CLS has to execute correctly here.
Again.
The slippery balls. So now you have to be extra careful, extra cautious on each possession.
It really is being testy here as we enter winning time inside the Gorker Tajaya. 2 minutes remaining in this ball game.
Again, when tensions are up, important game here. Ball is slippery. You want to keep it as simple as possible. As high percentage as possible in your execution.
Singletary working with Charles. Mike, his pass deflected. Now that wasn't a slip anymore. That was just great defense for the Knights. Cornyawan wisely resetting the offense of CLS. Hidayat comes up to set things.
Somebody has to execute something well soon. We've seen 3 straight turnovers.
Hidayat uses the glass. No good. Out of nowhere, Monte Brandon defensive board.
The shot clock did not reset.
And that is a crucial error committed by CLS. Maxi Esho did not know the situation they were in.
4 straight turnovers. Somebody has to execute down the stretch. Brickman is the most capable man in making sure that they get a good shot at least.
Here's Brickman. Goes to Morgan. Moses misses. Ball tapped out of bounds by Chris Charles. And one thing that I felt we haven't given enough credit, the boxing out of Stephen Hurt on Chris Charles.
Again, gritty defense by CLS. I've been impressed. Gritty team defense. Brickman had a lot of room there. I'd like to see him, take a shot, take a floater once in a while. Take charge of this ball game.
1 minute and 2 remaining here in this ball game. CLS were given a lot of opportunities, but they were just not able to capitalize on them.
Just not able to knock down their shots when it's available. But now Thailand giving a little bit of a press. It might work.
Almost an error there and a foul called on Apiron Vilaychay. That will send Monte Brandon to the free throw line. Brandon doing so much for his squad. Check that. It's only going to be a sideline inbound as it's only the 3rd team foul for Mono.
Yes, that's why they were extra aggressive, trying to gamble on that mini press of theirs. Try to negate whatever Coach Rosam drew up for the CLS Knights in that timeout.
Wong, guarded by Apiron Vilaychay. And miscommunication once again. We've been seeing so many turnovers from both squads, actually.
Now another opportunity for Thailand.
And I don't think they need a 3 at this point.
Yeah. But
they need a basket. That's what they do. Brickman to Apiron Vilaychay. Palm attacks. Tried to draw a foul. Couldn't recover. Ball is loose. Bounced off of Chris Charles. And another wasted opportunity for Mono.
It's just unfortunate in a really highly entertaining, highly competitive ball game that in the last minute we have yet to see a decent attempt at the basket from both squads.
Again, we have to mention the situation. It's raining pretty hard outside the stadium, and that has led to some moisture building up on the floor of Gorker Tajaya. You see our crew really trying to work as much as they can to make it as safe and as dry as possible for the players. But obviously, our protagonists here battling that situation.
Almost another turnover there. Good foul. They had to foul now.
Well, the shot clock and the game clock were pretty identical already, and that's why Mono had to give up a foul there. They will need one more to send CLS to the free throw line.
They can still try to force a turnover, like you said, with the conditions on the floor now. Slippery floor, slippery basketball, they can try to force a turnover for the first 4 seconds of the clock.
Our officials, of course, on top of this incredible game between CLS and Mono. That's a quick foul given up by Singletary on Esho. Now, Maxi Esho has missed a few free throws in this contest. He is 2 for 4. But that's also the 4th personal foul of Mike Singletary. He's got to be extra careful.
Gut check time this.
Maxi Esho 24 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals as well. As mentioned, 2 of 4 from the line. Makes the first one, extends it to a 2-possession advantage.
Makes it when it counts the most.
That is what matters. The second one for Esho. It's good as well. And that could be the insulation, the cushion necessary to completely put Mono Vampire away. Look at the smile on the face of Monte Brandon. This was just a great basketball game, but right now, CLS Knights looking to protect their home floor, up by 5 with 13 seconds remaining.
Kind of fizzled towards the end with all the turnovers. Let's see if the Vampires can produce something here.
Singletary comes up short. Charles collects the rebound. They're looking for a 3, and that turnover will doom Mono Vampire. It will deliver their 4th loss in as many games here in the 9th season of the ABL. And as for the CLS Knights, the delight of the crowd is all you need to see and hear in order to know the result here inside Gorgerta Jaya, the CLS Knights, and their 3-game slump with an 80-75 win over Mono Vampire.
And it's the defense of CLS Knights really in the second half that did it. Only 28 points by the Mono Vampire in the second half.
Wow, and
I don't remember one single good possession by the Mono Vampires in the final 2 minutes of this game, and was really unfortunate. They had been playing a really good basketball game. This squad home with the W.
absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the final numbers in this match. And what are the numbers that stand out for you?
Again, rebounding. CLS didn't have that 7-footer in the paint, but they won the rebounding department. That's very important for them. And assists. Brickman gets all these accolades for his passing ability, but in this game, as a team, the CLS Knights really...
But they couldn't get a shot in.
They're definitely correct. They're shooting. They're great shooting from the field, especially 3-point line. Just really carried them all throughout the game. Their great execution, especially the passes from Jason Brickman. But unfortunately, towards the end game, the last 3 minutes or so, they just failed to even